The technologies behind how those objects move are baffling. They have no jets, no rockets, no internal combustion engine, and they certainly don't have a nuclear power plant because there's no heat signature. Nuclear power fusion is hot. In a groundbreaking revelation, Dr. Stephen Greer exposes shocking details about recent alien sightings that have left the world stunned. Did you know that some of these sightings might not be extraterrestrial at all, but advanced human-made technologies kept hidden from the public for decades? What do these revelations mean for the future of humanity and our understanding of the cosmos? When you look at them, you realize it's a whole new physics, a whole electromagnetic propulsion system using very high-voltage systems similar to what Nikola Tesla and others stumbled across in the early 20th century. Join us as we dive deep into Greer's astonishing claims and uncover the truth behind these mysterious encounters. Greer says everything we believe is wrong. If the most important technologies and information in the history of the United States are being held covertly by an unelected and unappointed group that is not being overseen by the president or the people's representatives in Congress, it makes a complete mockery of everything. You're wrong, my friend. Well, not everything, Greer states. Dr. Stephen Greer is a retired emergency physician, an MD, researcher, an author, and an efficient documentary maker. It is one of the most extraordinary stories of how a person who was a part of the emergency medicine environment became one of the major figures in the field of the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. Also known as the father of the disclosure movement, Dr. Greer had his first contact with UFOs at the age of 8 in North Carolina. Lured by a burning passion and a clear purpose, Greer later devoted himself to research on the existence of alien intelligence and numerous cases of their observations on the planet. He claims that there is a secret and criminal parallel government using extraterrestrial technology for nefarious ends, posing a clear danger to the country. In his book, Extraterrestrial Contact, Dr. Greer describes how actual alien civilizations have been visiting Earth for thousands of years, especially in the 20th century when atomic weapons were built. He goes further to say that the military-industrial complex has since captured and reverse-engineered alien craft and created similar replicas. According to Greer, there is proof that extraterrestrials have been around for as long as mankind. Paleolithic cave paintings and historical art are the evidence that tells us this. Greer seeks to compel governments to release classified information on the subject. Greer also established the Center for the Study of Extraterrestrial Intelligence, CSETI, and Serious Technology Advanced Research, the principal goal of which is to develop friendly relations with space visitors. His interest in UFOs and extraterrestrials began long before he dedicated his life to the topic. In fact, ever since he was young, he had all the books and magazines related to the topic. His interest was taken to the next level by his uncle, an aerospace engineer, who helped design the lunar module that landed on the moon in 1969. In 1973, while he was hiking alone in the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina, Greer recalls an extremely close sighting of a disc-shaped craft involving interactions with its occupants. Since that moment, Greer says he had no doubts that all of it was real, but the more important question was, what was Greer going to do about it? Greer got the answer to this question in 1990 when he had further strange incidents that propelled him to do something about it and organize people around the topic of UFOs and aliens. He wanted to establish a method based on groups of investigators working together, which gave birth to CSETI, operating from Greer's basement in Asheville. The idea behind CSETI is to bring about close encounters and study them in detail. The idea of close encounters was conceived by Allen Hynek about 20 years ago. There are 3 categories of close encounters. CE1S involve aerial sightings that are closer than 500 feet. CE2S are sightings supported by physical evidence such as radar tracks, landmarks, frightened animals, and broken branches, and finally, CE3 sightings occur when we come face to face with aliens. The description of aliens varies, being described as short gray humanoids, winged creatures, shaggy hulks, or tall blondes resembling Rutger Hauer. Later, a CE4 category was established to cover cases of humans boarding alien craft, whether voluntarily or by abduction. Greer developed close encounters of the 5th kind, CE5, designated as human-initiated communication with nearby extraterrestrial craft using light, sound, and directed awareness. However, Greer and his team aren't just in it to spot UFOs from afar. They are regularly in contact with teams around the world who know of windows and hotspots, areas where UFO sightings have consistently occurred over prolonged periods of time. When such an area is identified, XETI sends its Rapid Mobilization Investigative Team, or MIT, to investigate. Currently, XETI has 20 grassroots working groups in different U.S. cities, as well as in Canada. These teams have gone through training in CSETI's approach to extraterrestrial contact, and about 100 people have taken the advanced skills training required to become eligible for our MIT. However, this is a demanding job, as our MIT members must leave their families and jobs on short notice to enter into high-level UFO events anywhere on the planet, covering extended trips and traveling out of their own pockets. Dr. Stephen Greer has written 5 books and directed 5 feature-length documentaries. His documentaries have been viewed by close to 1 billion people globally. His latest work, *The Lost Century and How to Reclaim It*, explores the effect of a century-long UFO concealment, which he claims has hindered human spiritual, cultural, and technological growth. The main concept of this documentary is the disclosure of technologies that exist in today's classified projects, originating from the scientific discoveries of such outstanding people as Nikola Tesla. He is confident these technologies can help save our planet and fight poverty within the next 20 years. Dr. Greer has devoted himself to lobbying scientists, inventors, and other leaders from various fields to advance the development of clean energy systems. He is considered one of the leading authorities on transitioning our carbon-based civilization into a sustainable age powered by new technology. When you look at the technology Greer discusses, you realize it's a whole new physics, a whole electromagnetic propulsion system using very high-voltage systems, similar to what Nikola Tesla and others stumbled across in the early 20th century. Among the technologies he talks about are zero-point energy, which could end pollution and poverty, electromagnetic gravitics to manipulate spacetime for fast travel, and consciousness-assisted technologies that utilize human spiritual energy to achieve their goals. According to Greer, the real secret isn't about aliens. They exist and have been funded through illicit means in a context that may be referred to as a secret government. Governments' roles in UFO secrecy have long been debated, and Greer is one of the figures bringing this issue to light. In an NPR Illinois article, Greer speaks on the tradition of government secrecy on UFOs and the implications of such actions. He constantly states that the issue isn't the fact of aliens but the technologies developed and hidden from the public. Worse still, as Greer notes, governments around the world, especially the US, have been concealing information about UFOs and alien technologies for decades. Greer opines that the potential to invent disruptive energy technologies that would alter the world system, particularly the fossil energy systems, is one of the main reasons behind this secrecy. If these technologies were disclosed, it would lead to a new period of power generation without the assistance of fossil fuels. This, in turn, would neutralize most of the world's environmental and financial problems. The NPR Illinois article also delves into the historical aspect of government concealment of UFOs, mentioning that over the past 75 years, trust in governments has steadily declined. The origin of such concealment can be traced as far back as the middle of the 20th century when the world began to witness the spaghetti westerns of UFO phenomena. Over the years, with the release of more reports and the gathering of additional information, the government's response has consistently been one of concealment, hiding information, and feeding the imagination of the public. This has, in turn, fueled conspiracy theories about what is truly out there. One of the major initiatives to counter this secrecy is the Disclosure Project, founded by Dr. Greer in 1993. The goal of this project is to gather genuine testimonies from military or government personnel who have encountered UFOs or possess information about secret programs involving extraterrestrial phenomena. By compiling these testimonies, the Disclosure Project aims to build a compelling case for government transparency and put pressure on officials to release classified information to the public. The NPR Illinois article highlights the significance of the Disclosure Project within the broader UFO debate. Greer's efforts have helped to legitimize the conversation about UFOs, moving it from the fringes of conspiracy theory into the mainstream. The project has also played a critical role in raising public awareness and encouraging more open dialogue about the potential implications of extraterrestrial contact, technical suppression, and UFO sightings. This mirrors what happens with organized religion, political parties, institutions, and social movements, which often forget their original goals as they become more fanatical and deviate from their initial objectives. One of the key points in Greer's discourse is the notion of a deliberate cover-up of the technologies associated with the UFO phenomenon. He argues that some of these technologies, such as energy systems and propulsion methods, if made public, could drastically alter the fate of mankind. For example, Greer supports the idea that widespread access to these technologies could eliminate the need for fossil fuels, reduce pollution, and combat climate change at its core. However, technological suppression has stunted scientific development and raised concerns about global inequality. Those in power have ensured that these advancements remain hidden from the masses, perpetuating the current energy regime where the few grow richer at the expense of the many. Greer also discusses the recent increase in UFO sightings, suggesting that these may result from the steady development and testing of new technologies by governments and private agencies. In some cases, he suggests that these UFO sightings might not be extraterrestrial in nature but could be advanced technologies created by humans. This raises questions about the true nature of these sightings and the reasons behind their concealment. The NPR Illinois article explores the implications of this increase in sightings, particularly regarding world safety. If the progress of new technologies remains secret, it could lead to an arms race with catastrophic consequences. Dr. Stephen Greer's work, as discussed in the NPR Illinois article, underscores the urgent need for greater transparency in the UFO and extraterrestrial intelligence conversation. Greer believes the public has a right to know the truth about what happens behind closed doors and that disclosing these technologies could have a transformative impact on humanity. His call for transparency goes beyond curiosity, addressing some of the world's most pressing challenges, such as environmental degradation and economic inequality. By bringing these issues into the open, Greer hopes to foster a new era of innovation and progress, driven by openness, cooperation, and the pursuit of knowledge. When looking at it as a whole, the NPR article provides valuable insights into UFOs and the importance of transparency regarding this information. Greer asserts that the government's acknowledgement of UFOs is a crucial step in addressing the topic. Although authorities and scientists have historically been reluctant to accept the existence of UFOs, recent years have seen a shift in how these issues are handled. In his interview with Vlad TV, Dr. Greer explains that this shift does not necessarily signify increased openness but is part of a broader system of information management designed to shape how the public views the issue. According to Greer, the U.S. government's acknowledgement of unidentified aerial phenomena, UAPs, does not equate to full disclosure. While they admit these phenomena exist and warrant further research, they avoid discussing the deeper aspects of the situation. Greer suggests this is part of a strategy to gradually prepare the public for the reality of UAPs while steering the conversation away from more contentious areas of the UFO debate. By using the term, unidentified aerial phenomena, instead of flying saucers, the government manages the narrative and avoids shocking the public. Greer's interview raises further questions about the government's intentions behind its disclosure. He argues that this newfound openness may not be as transparent as it seems, suggesting it could be part of an agenda to justify increased military spending and the development of new technologies. Greer is particularly concerned about the potential militarization of space and the use of UAPs as a cover for creating new weapons. He also proposes that some UAP sightings may result from advanced human technology rather than alien spacecraft, which leads to deeper questions about the government's motivations. In Greer's view, the military-industrial complex is deeply intertwined with the secrecies surrounding UAPs. He posits that some of the major defense contractors have a vested interest in keeping these technologies hidden, as they stand to lose a great deal if such advancements are made public. Greer also claims that some cutting-edge technologies may have been reverse-engineered from retrieved UFOs. He goes on to suggest the existence of a shadow government, an authority exercising influence over the U.S. without the approval of the legal government. Greer believes this hidden structure is responsible for concealing the most significant aspects of UAP technology to maintain the current economic and political order. Dr. Greer has always been a proponent of full disclosure, arguing that the information being kept from society has the potential to revolutionize the world. He believes that if these technologies were made public, many of the world's most severe issues, such as climate change and poverty, could be addressed. At the same time, Greer discusses the difficulties of realizing true disclosure successfully. He argues that there are those who have something to lose in revealing such information, and therefore it will take the work of activists, scholars, and anyone interested to get past the barriers in the future. Dr. Greer believes that the recent statement of the US government about UAPs can be an indication of forthcoming transparency, but he doubts the purpose of it. He urges the public to stay awake and insist on more disclosure in this area, not only from the US government but also from other powerful countries that may have information about UAPs and extraterrestrial beings. However, these phenomena have at least been recognized by the government to some extent, and that recognition has created another set of questions as to what is still being hushed up and why. To Dr. Greer's mind, the aim is always to unveil the truth, irrespective of the challenges that are likely to be encountered. In a discussion about UFOs on the London Real podcast, Greer elaborates more on his life's work and the need for truth and global conversation about the after-effects of alien contact. There is also a passionate interest in the subject, especially when he discusses not only UFOs but also how alien technology could change the world. One of the podcast's central themes is the evolving perception of UFOs in the public consciousness and in official government circles. Greer reports that there is now official admission, even within government, that UFOs exist and should be taken seriously. It is this admission that has finally pulled the topic out of the realm of conspiracy theories. Greer also adds that not all UFOs reportedly seen over the years are even alien. Instead, he claims that most sightings can be traced to extremely sophisticated human-made devices developed in the shadows by governments and private industry. These technologies, Greer says, are the result of classified research conducted over decades, with most of the funding coming from black budgets and kept out of the public eye. One of the fascinating segments of the podcast is Greer's ruminations on alien technology and its implications for humanity. Greer says that UFO technologies, which he refers to as zero-point energy, would revolutionize life on Earth if they were fully developed and implemented. This, he believes, would provide a source of pure, boundless energy that could not only solve the global energy crisis but also reduce environmental devastation and economic inequality. Greer believes that alien civilizations have been on Earth for millennia and have shaped human history in ways that are only now being discovered. Contrary to some depictions in popular fiction, Greer argues that these races are not out to harm humanity. Instead, they are genuinely interested in the fate of our planet and its inhabitants. Greer shares accounts of various contact experiences and communications with aliens that he and others have had. These communications, he says, typically occur through higher levels of consciousness and telepathy. According to Greer, these extraterrestrial civilizations are far more spiritually and technologically advanced than we are. He is convinced that peaceful, open contact with these beings will bring about a new age of international collaboration and wisdom. In the final episode of the podcast, Dr. Greer calls for more transparency and international cooperation to solve the UFO enigma, alien technology, and even the question of alien contact. He demands an end to the decades of silence surrounding these issues, insisting that the public deserves to know the truth. He believes that humanity's future depends on our ability to adopt these new technologies. As Greer calls for transparency and global cooperation, he invites everyone to become active participants in the quest for truth and to imagine a world transformed by the technologies and wisdom of advanced civilizations.